Yeah, I'm going to try to answer this as quickly as I can, but there's a few pieces to that question. So the question was, how do you deal with maybes and think it overs? Okay. First of all, you have to understand there's two pieces you need for any sale to occur. Sometimes your prospect brings it with them, sometimes you got to help them get there. Those two pieces are this: motivation and urgency, right? You have to have a want to change, right? If you don't have any want, if there's nothing you can accomplish, if there's no motivation, in other words, who's going to change what they're doing, right? If you have a car that you're 100% happy with, how likely are you to go car shopping or to buy a new car? Like, very unlikely, right? You need motivation. That's why we're all looking for motivated sellers. I think where some people get confused is we can really up that motivation and urgency to take action quite a bit. Not by doing anything silly or manipulative, but by having the right conversation. So number one, we need motivation for them to sell a house. Number two, no matter how bad someone wants to sell their property, how bad they want to change their situation, there are things that will get in the way. I call them deal killers. I would love to have, I don't know, maybe like a big old mansion and a private jet, right? There's a desire for that. I would love to have more and more time with my kids and my wife right now. So there's a huge desire, there's motivation. But what's standing in my way? Or you guys just shout out stuff. What do you think? Money, right? Anything else? Time. So no matter how much motivation you have, I think where a lot of investors kind of drop the ball and just abandon the sales process is, hey, there's a lot of motivation, but what's getting in the way? So you need those two things: up motivation and urgency to take action, and then walk them through a process to remove all those deal killers. Now, when you get to the end and they want to think it over, if you've done those two steps appropriately, you've already removed the deal killers, motivation's there, and they want to think it over. You don't push them. You don't let them think it over, though, either. If you push for a yes, what happens is something called psychological reactance kicks in. That's our natural tendency to push back against things. Like, who's ever had a 2-year-old? Like, you ever tell a 2-year-old what to do, what happens? The exact opposite, right? So when one of my boys, it was 3 or 4, his favorite meal is Panera macaroni and cheese. So every night for dinner, we found it at Sam's, so we got these little tubs of it and everything. And but sometimes at dinner he didn't want to eat. So we'd put it on the table, we'd say, Jackson, you got to eat, and he'd say, no, no, no. How do you think we got him to eat? We literally would say, we'd literally put it down and say, you are not allowed to eat this. Don't you even think about it. And he'd just gobble it up. That's psychological reactance. We want what we can't have. We push back against any impingement on our freedom to choose or anything like that. So understand that concept, right? We push back. So when we push someone for a yes, people tend to push back. Sometimes they'll even get hostile. When we push for a yes, we put pressure on people. When people feel pressure, they do one of two things. What do you think those two things are? What happens when you feel pressured?
You get angry.
Stall, angry. You fight or you flee. It's some version of one of the two, right? You either get out of the situation, you shut down. The prospects sometimes just end a call early or shut down, oh, I gotta go. Or they get hostile, they fight. Most will flee, but some will fight. Some, when they're fleeing, they just shut down, stop answering questions, you don't even know they're doing it. So if you pressure for a yes, you're gonna get someone fight or flee, and psychological reactance kicks in and they push back, so it's always the wrong way to go. So what you do is the opposite. You use that psychological reactance to your favor. Well, I've already got them motivated. I hit that at the first part of my sales process. Now I'm gonna take it away, and I'm gonna say something to the effect of, hey, listen, after everything we've talked about today, I'll do a little recap, about you and this, and because of that you feel this, and how we'd structure a deal, and how we'd actually, put this all together and take care of deal killer. After everything we've talked about, if you're not 100% certain that this is the way you need to go, you probably just need to call this what it is, and it's a no. And what happens at that point is one of two things, right? Sometimes all they need is that little bit of motivation, because when do we make a really big decision in our lives? Think about it. When do we make a really big decision? When we have to, or just when it comes up? Have to, right? The biggest decisions, we wait till we're forced to. So for some people, that's going to close more deals right there. And we didn't pressure them into a yes, but we got motivation up. What happens when we really want something and it's taken away? We want it even more, right? So that'll push some people over the edge. They just needed that stopping point. right? For other people, there's still a deeply hidden deal killer that's getting in the way. There's still something in between, no matter how motivated they are. I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't have the credit to qualify for. There's a hidden deal killer. And when motivation's up and then you take it away, you hear something that starts just like this. Well, it's just that, and you can finally deal with that deal killer.
They finally reveal the true objection.
Right, because now it's off the table, right? Now the deal's off the table. Other people, again, no matter how good you are, some people are just going to feel pressured when it's time to make a decision. So when you take that decision away from them, now they're going to relax. I usually actually kill the sales call when I personally go in, either immediately or within 10 or 15 minutes and go, I don't think we can do anything. Now that it's over, can I ask you a question? Now that they think the sales call's over, I'm not buying the house. Yeah, what's up? What in the world are you going to do? Where are you going to go? I thought about listing the place. It's a beautiful property. You lived here 20 years. Why would you even consider moving? I'm getting into motivation and pulling out all the deal killers. So I went a lot of places there because there's a lot of ways you can go and a lot of things you need to do. But when you get a maybe or think it over, number one, you had to have followed the right sales process for it to work. But then you take it off the table. I've done that. And anyone who does that will get calls within 15, 30 minutes. Once that really kicks in, who's done that? I don't think this is going to be a fit here. And then the phone rings after you walk out the door, right? It happens, right? So I always go for the no. That's what we call it. We go for the no. If you're afraid to do that, don't. Some people are like, well, you know, I get a deal sometimes 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 days later. If I do that, then I'm slitting my own throat. Not the case. Let me tell you why. If you're in a sales situation, okay? Let's say someone's trying to sell you a car, because that's like the quintessential sales scenario, right? So someone's selling you a car, you like the car, you're almost there, you just want to think about it a little bit, but the sales guy just starts hammering into you. He gets a sales manager, and they're up on the desk like this, and they're, you got to get this car. And you're feeling just super pressured.
What will it take?
What will it take, right? You're feeling super pressured. You escape that car lot by the skin of your teeth. Cell phone rings, it's a car lot. Are you going to pick it up?
No.
Okay, let me change the scenario. You're in the car lot. They found out all your needs. They removed deal killers, but you're still not 100% comfortable. And they said, listen, we got this far, and if you still don't feel this is the vehicle for you, I don't think this is the vehicle for you. And I know you want to think it over, but usually, you know, I've been in this business long enough that a think it over is usually it just usually means something's not right. Now is not the time. It might mean that you're just being super polite and that's your way of saying no, thank you. But I think we just need to call this what it is. You say, okay, thank you, shake hands, you walk out. Cell phone rings, it's a car dealership. Are you going to pick that up? You're going to be more likely to pick it up.
Yes.
When you